All right, class, now the moment we've all been waiting for. Up to this point in this Lego assembly, you were doing a little bit of refresher on the part studio. Now you finally get to do assemblies. And I know you guys have been chomping at the bit to finally get there rather than doing some review this year. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert a part, reorient it, fix it to the origin, and then use a bunch of fasten mates. And you do get to add a multiple of the same part, which we've talked about as well in the past, why you wouldn't want to do that in the part studio. So let's get to, I'm going to show you, sorry, that's the part studio. I'm going to show you what the assembly is going to look like. So there you go. We're going to have two of the slope pieces. Everything else looks just like the part studio, but we're going to be doing it in the assembly. So let's get started. As you might remember, when you start an assembly, first of all, obviously go to the assembly tab, and you're going to have a blank screen with an origin. So the first step is insert. And now you've done this a little bit in the guided assignments, but this is the first time you're doing it on your own parts studio. So I'm going to click this. And as you might remember, when I click it, if I green check this, it's going to put my assembly right on the origin. As you can see, the corner of my part is basically hitting the origin. I actually don't want this in this case because I want to be able to reorient a part. So I'm going to just sort of throw it over here somewhere and nowhere attached to the origin. I'm going to green check that. Right now, I want to show you I can move things around. They're not attached to anything, and that's actually what I want because your assignment says to put the back bottom corner, so this one, onto the origin. This is going to be a common thing when you're making assemblies, is to try to logically pick where you want your origin to be. So I want you to practice doing that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just say fasten, and I'm going to pick the origin, and I'm going to pick the mate connector. So hopefully you remember these little, I don't know, circles that show up are called mate connectors. And I'm going to click that one, but I'm going to make sure that it's associated with the bottom plate so that its Z direction, the blue line, is facing either up or down. And so if we go back and look, did we get it right? Yes, we did. It is facing the way we want, which is looking like that. So I'm going to hit the green check. Okay, so now our base plate is fixed. Now what we want is to start adding all the other pieces. So it's as simple as using the fasten mate, pick the correct, I should say, mate connector. So make sure that the mate connector is associated with the surface you want. So that's facing up. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to attach the orange part down on the bottom corner. And now you can see that's in the right place. So green check that. And you keep going. And you can just, now I can pick the corner of the orange part. But and the reason I don't want to pick the gray part is because Onshape, as you remember, creates mate connectors where it seems like it's somewhere you would want. It's sort of like AI saying, I got you, I know where you want things to be. Well, it doesn't know that you have a corner of the orange thing there. So instead of using the gray plate, we're going to use the orange plate. To make it easier on myself, I'm going to hide the base so that I know that I'm getting this bottom surface. And now you can see I'm getting the mate connector on that corner of the orange. And now I'm going to pick the corner of the green that is the same corner. Make sure you get the bottom. If you're having problems with it selecting, you can just simply hit the shift key. And then that'll keep it set to the surface you were working on. Okay. Now, the red cylinder might be a little more difficult. What's nice is that we have these nubs, and we know that those nubs are centered correctly because we use the Boolean tool. So I'm going to actually use the center of that top circle and just put it on the corresponding center of the red, the top of the hole of the red. And let's see, did that get it in the right place? Yes, it did. Okay,